Hi everybody, out here on this nice September evening, Mocksville, looking to fly, and now that I've got it all sorted out, I thought I'd walk you all through my new camera setup. I've changed a couple things about it, so I wanted to go through it back again so that anybody who's looking for tips and tricks on GoPro angles like the ones that I use can reference this video. So we'll start from the head, just like last time. This is a GoPro Hero 8. All of the settings I use on all of my cameras are 2.7K recording, super view, the very wide angle lens, auto color and exposure, and no stabilization. So we get 60 frames a second of the widest possible view that we possibly can. Now this camera has a media mod on it. You notice it's a little bulky. It's got this extra microphone, but more importantly, the media mod gives me a plug on the back. Pipes in here and runs down along my microphone boom to this fuzzy thing. That fuzzy thing is actually a second microphone. This is called a Purple Panda. It's a microphone made for recording vlogs on motorcycles. So it works really well in our application. So that is a standalone microphone that plugs into the back of my GoPro through a media mod. It automatically switches over to the external microphone. And this is a safety tether going down to my ear cuffs. You'll remember I dropped the camera once. I don't drop cameras anymore. Safety tethers are important. Safety tether everything you fly with. And second up is my ground camera. This little guy is a GoPro Hero 9. Not that it needed to be a Hero 9, but I thought I'd try upgrading and picked up a Hero 9. Turns out it works worse with my other 8s and my GoPro 360 Max. The catch is the Hero 9 uses Wi-Fi to operate on its remote. That's something we'll get to here soon. And it's pretty laggy. So I dropped back to all Hero 8s in the air, plus my GoPro 360 Max, and that gives me Bluetooth on my remote, which is a much more seamless, much more reliable form of remote control for all my cameras. But this guy stays on the ground. It's got a little external battery, and that external battery keeps it running for as long as I'm flying, so it gets all my takeoffs and landings. Next up is my wing camera. This again is a GoPro Hero 8, and I'm using a snap mount. It's a magnetic mount, so there's a plate inside the fabric. I find the last cell that has an opening in the tip of my wing, stick it about halfway down, and then safety tie it onto one of the lines. On this case, this is a C line. And this guy grabs really cool shots from the side. I've seen and used it from the middle. I'm not a fan of taking the video from the middle looking straight down. You don't see as much as the scenery, so I like it on the wingtip, and it looks really cool when you do turns. You can pan out or pan in effectively and see all around you. I think it's a cooler shot. Then we have my chase camera. No surprise, another GoPro Hero 8. These are all Hero 8s, guys. This guy is mounted to a wing thing. This is sold by Boise Paramotors. I keep this one in my gear bag. I also fly with the PPG Smoke Chase Cam V2. I think the V2 Chase Cam is a little more stout, little simpler to set up. On this one you have to adjust the angle and kind of fine tune it. And it's never quite level, but either one works fine. I use both for my chase cams. Again, safety tethers so that we're not losing any cameras in flight. And this attaches by a line to the back of my wing. I'll show you exactly where that goes. Then we have the 360 camera. This guy, as the name implies, shoots 360-degree video attached to my swing arm. I'll go through the mount here because this is the most impressive change, I think, to my whole setup. So we've got a metal plate, and this is a aluminum mount meant to be bolted on to a helmet for skydiving for GoPros. That's all sandwiched together, and I've got pieces of silicone acting as big pads, hopefully to reduce vibration. So that's all clamped on there through the holes on my swing arm. Then immediately off of this mount, we have a ball joint. So that lets me level out the camera. And then off of the ball joint, we have all this skeletonized arm. This one came in a pack of 3, so we had a long section, a medium section, and a short section. I'm using the long and the short together. I find that gives me the perfect length. And then the camera itself, it's a GoPro 360 Max. This and all of my other cameras are then hooked up onto the remote, and they all start and stop in unison. Now, the camera shoots 360, which is a very strange video format. Unfortunately, it takes a lot of extra editing, but I have this set up instead of sitting on a selfie stick now, because I can use this hands-free during takeoff and landing. So I've got a point of view from the front showing me as I take off and land. I think it's a really cool view, and it lets me go back through my flights and see my own hands moving and recognize whether or not I'm screwing something up on the launch or the landing. It's been very helpful. So this mount is a little cumbersome. I don't recommend it to most people because it does get in the way, but it does nail my takeoff and landings and looks really cool when I fly. I keep it screen facing up so that one lens is getting my face and the other lens is getting the ground below me. And then also, if I ever miss something with any of my other cameras, this is shooting all the way around all the time. This caught it, guaranteed. So I've got that as a cool backup if I see any sights that can be zoomed in on that weren't captured by any of my other cameras. And finally, the remote. It's really nothing special. It's a Bluetooth remote that allows multiple GoPro controls. So this hooks up to the 4 cameras that I carry with me in flight, and I hit start to start, I hit it again to stop. That makes editing very simple. It means I don't have to carry backup batteries for all of my cameras to keep them running non-stop for over an hour. I start and stop where I want the video to start and stop, and then I can stitch them together by length of time in my editor later. This is the lifesaver. This hooks it all together, and really, my style of video with multiple camera angles would be 5-6 times more difficult without this very simple remote. You'll notice it's on this little springy cable thing. That springy cable thing goes back to my chest, so I can take it off, hit record, fly around, just drop it. Always ends up back there. So in my recording setup, I start this camera on the ground and then I turn on all of my GoPros. Got my chase cam hooked up. Typically you want it on the C or D lines, not the brake. This wing has 2 lines all the way off until the last cascade, which is, well, I can't really clip my chase cam there now, can I? So I clip it here, it slides all the way down. So brake line it is, but generally you want it on the wing surface, not on the steering surface. So try to clip it onto the C's or D's, whatever you got. On launch, chase cam in between the risers at your butt as you take off. That lets the wing get overhead so that it doesn't get snapped up immediately if it was behind the wing. So I've got the chase cam on, obviously the helmet cam on when you're watching it. Wing camera on. And let's go get the motor and turn on the 360. All right, so remote says 4 cameras ready. I hit the record button, obviously you're watching this. And there's my 360, and there's my chase camera, and there's my wing camera looking at the skies. Now we're all ready to clip in. Clip prop. There it is. Stay with me. My motor's really funny. It doesn't like to stay running, or it doesn't like to start again when I haven't primed it and just let it sit for 30 minutes. There's a bit of a drag. Got gaggles started. I'll do a video on gaggles soon, I promise. Maybe I shouldn't promise. So on takeoff, got to be careful not to snag this on the 360 camera, and really don't focus on the cameras, right? Focus on the flying. I'm guilty of that sometimes, but here we go. Come on. Come on. Woo! There's an airplane. So once in flight, I bend my selfie stick down. When I launch, it usually is up here because the swing arm points down. But once I'm off the ground, obviously I have to drop it low.
And now, when I know I want to pause the cameras, I just grab for my remote, hit the button, and I'll restart it when another scene catches my eye that I want to record. Got my wing camera going, my chase camera going, I presume. Oh yeah, it's back there. I can see the light on the front of my 360 going, and I can use my fuel gauge to verify that the light on my helmet camera is going. And really, they're all just point and forget about it, which is really nice. Before, it was with under the leg mounting, a lot of checking to see if it was rotating on me or angled correctly. The 360 camera here just is guaranteed. Okay, I'm gonna pause it with the remote, be back soon. And you wouldn't know it, but this is 10 minutes later. So that remote comes in really handy because I don't have to have my cameras draining all the time as I fly, shortening my total footage. And I also don't have to worry about whether or not I'm gonna have the time of day to edit all the footage after the fact, because when you record hours worth of footage times 4, really takes up hard drive space and time, mentally and physically, to edit it all, make it into a cohesive 10-minute long YouTube story. So anyways, that's what I got as far as camera angles go. A few tips and tricks. Number 1, always take my word for it. I learned the hard way. Tether your equipment. My 360 is tethered to the stick is tethered to the swing arm. My helmet camera is tethered to my helmet. The wing camera is tethered to the wing lines. The chase camera is tethered onto the tow line for the chase camera. Always tether it. I've lost my chase camera. Hit the propeller, went flying, and hit the ground, broke it. If I had a line on that, I would not have broken that chase camera. And I also dropped my wing camera doing a big ears. If I had a line on it, it still would have popped off its mount, but I wouldn't have dropped that camera. Luckily, I did find it, but that's besides the point. I've had 2 instances now, and I will never again fly with no tethers on my cameras, and I recommend you do the same. When it comes to helmet cameras, see where I've got mine kind of halfway up from the brim to the top of the head? Don't do that. Mount it lower. The lower down you can put the helmet camera, the less stuff is going to snag on it. Mostly glider lines when you go for deflation. It gets really annoying trying to like untangle my head. Chase camera, I would make the line for the chase camera either slightly shorter than your glider height or just a little longer than your total height so it doesn't hit your propeller. On my PPG Smoke V2 camera, I went the longer route. It gets kicked around a little bit on takeoff, but it takes nicer shots because it's further back. On this setup, the wing thing, I got it shorter. It's a little closer, but the mount on that lets me angle the camera higher, and hopefully I've got it angled high enough so that you're actually looking at parts of the wing and not just me. I like seeing the wing in the chase camera pictures. It really puts things in perspective. On the wing mounted camera, if you go the route that I did, I recommend that you stick it on the last cell opening right in the middle, right? Because it's bulbous. Each of those cells puffs out a little bit. So you put it right in the middle. Too low and you'll get more ground. Too high and you'll get more wing. Right in the middle. Right about half span, you can see where mine is. And tether downwind. So you want your tether attached to a line that's behind the camera as the wing flies, not in front of it, or you'll get the line slapping all over the camera as you fly. That's about all I got for you as far as camera angles go. Let's go have some fun in the flight. Alright, well I can't have too much fun on this flight because the sun's setting and I don't have a strobe. well, this one was short-lived because I got about 10 minutes to sunset. Back to the field I go. This is usually where I would do big ears, but chase camera up there says don't do big ears. Oh, there's Paul. Can you see the blue light? I hope you can all see the blue light. That's weird. Woo! Fly casual. So, that's it for cameras. Hopefully this answered some questions. If you have any that I didn't hit on, drop a comment down below. Happy to answer them. If this video is useful to you or you learned something new, hit the like button. And if you like seeing stuff like this, maybe a subscribe. They're free. You can give them out. It's okay. Thanks for checking it out. We will see you later. Sweet.